Hey everybody, welcome to the Deliveries Book Series channel. I'm Christina, KrisGinaDeluise. And today we're going to talk about Star Trek Next Generation, Samaritan Snare, Up the Long Ladder, Manhunt, and the Emissary. My numbers are in order! Yay! Okay, so Wesley is once again going to Starfleet for exams. Didn't he just go for exams? But he's doing exams again. And I love the exchange between Riker, Data, and Wesley in the beginning of the episode on how much Wesley has over the cadets because he has practical field experience and all they have is book learning. They always say field experience is better, hands-on experience is always better than books. Picard needs heart surgery, and he's hiding this from the ship. And when Riker asks why he's leaving the ship, Picard doesn't want to tell him. He says, none of your beeswax. So Wesley is worried about what to talk to the captain about because it's going to take them 6 hours on the shuttle to get to the Starfleet. And so they leave. And the Enterprise receives an urgent message from unknown people for help. And they make contact with the Mondor, a Packard ship, and they think they were really simple. But I think that they were trying to deceive us. And they answer all of their it was them. They answer all of Riker's questions, and they're simple and deceiving. We like things. We want to go fast. We this. We that. It's all. And Worf is right. They're deceiving us. They're faking us out. And Worf says, we need more information. Yes, we do. We do need more information on this. And Wesley and Picard have a talk on the shuttle, and Picard lays it all out that he was an idiot and got into a bar fight when he was younger and didn't know better, and he's only alive today because he was near a starbase and could get heart fixed. There's always that one who thinks he's better than the rest or bigger than the rest. So the aliens keep going. We look for things to make us go. We want things to help. But, and Geordi's over there on the ship. He gets transported over to help make the repair. And it's a really simple repair. It needs like 5 minutes. He's done. He's like, I gotta come back now. Oh, no, something else fails. I gotta stay 5 more minutes. And Troy's like, hey, get him back, get him back, get him back. And Wesley's like, well, how come you didn't want Pulaski doing it? And Picard's like, well, he didn't want the ship to know. He didn't want the ship to know that he was in trouble. He's trying to be brave. He's the captain, I gotta look tough. Again, I gotta look tough, right? So, Geordi fixes the problem, then something else goes down, and Wesley says Picard probably would have preferred Riker, and because he knows Picard doesn't like kids. And Picard says wishing for things doesn't make it so. You can wish to win the lottery. It's almost 99.9% chance it ain't happening. You can wish for a cancer cure, and it may happen in 200 or 300 years. But it's one of those things. You can wish for children, and it ain't gonna happen. So, and I think a lot of this could play on Picard season 3, with his new son. Geordi fixes the ship and wants to return to the Enterprise when the other ship raises Romulan shields, and all of a sudden, apparently, they are smarter than they appear to be. Wesley and Picard share a sandwich and a conversation. Picard tells a story about his heart. Then the aliens want Geordi to make a weapon. They went through a list to capture Geordi because they believe Geordi will be able to um, make their ship better with all the stuff that they have. It's like the Ferengi. They remind me so much of the Ferengi. Oh, and hey, while I'm at it, please hit the thumbs up if you've lasted this long. Statistically speaking, most people drop out before a minute. So I thank you for lasting this long in the video. Please hit the thumbs up. It means a lot to me if you hit the thumbs up. So the aliens want Geordi to make them a weapon, and they went through a list to capture Geordi. And Riker wants them to return Geordi, and but they would have to fire on this. If they fire on the ship, then they'll be hurting Geordi, and they don't want to hurt Geordi. So they have a staff meeting, and Data's like, we have two choices. We can either react or not react. And then Picard has the surgery, and the surgeon says, this is really simple. We do this all the time. And then we cut back to the ship, and they borrow, they steal, they want instant gratification. Again, they sound a lot like the Ferengi. And then Riker suggests that they offer them something, but don't give it to them. Maybe a ruse of some sort, a bluff. We get back to the surgery, and they run into a problem. And then we're back to the ship, and they try to tell Geordi what the mission is through code words and 24 and all this kind of stuff. And their fingers crossed that Geordi gets it. Then Picard's surgery goes 6 ways to Sunday, and the ship gets alerted to his situation, and the cat is out of the bag. And Pulaski's got to save him, and she comes and she saves him. And when Picard comes out of the surgery and he sees that it's Pulaski, he knows the jig is up. The whole ship knows. And when he comes back to the Enterprise, the whole ship gives him a standing ovation. It's like, oh, God. He tried to avoid all this. And Wesley passed his exams. So, up the long ladder. I always like to see if there was no voice overview. So Riker and Picard learn that distress call has been received from an old Earth SOS beacon, where humans are not known to be. Worf faints. He has the equivalent of the measles. So then they get the mysterious distress call, and Pulaski lies to the captain about Worf's illness, and Worf gets up and leaves. I want to know what the F is up with that. I want to know. He just got up and left. She didn't treat him. She didn't give him medicine. She figured it out. She gave him all those testes, figures it out, tells him that he has this disease. He's all embarrassed by it. Now, isn't the measles contagious? And she lies to the captain about what he's got, and then he leaves. He doesn't even treat him, doesn't even give him medicine or a shot or nothing. He just leaves. What the F is up with that? And so they're trying to figure out what the ship is, or what the people on the planet are. And they're going through the manifest, and Data figures out, and they pull up the manifest of the ship, and it had spinning wheels and computers. And they're trying to figure out what spinning wheels and computers had to do with each other. And Worf goes back and has tea with Pulaski, and she automatically knows. How she knows, we don't know, but she automatically goes, oh, the tea ceremony. I understand, yes. She gives herself the shot, and then she can complete the full time, and he can do poetry to her. Like, what the F? She still hasn't treated him for the measles. And shouldn't he be in bed, getting rest or something? And when is Cleon's doing poetry? A Klingon. The violent race of the world. Poetry. So they get to the planet, and the reason they can't communicate with them, they think, is the solar flares. Apparently, however, it's very primitive Earth culture. And they only have 3 hours, so they got to go down and get those people out quick. So Riker goes down alone. What the F is wrong up with that? They send one guy. What happened to an away team and all that kind of crap? So they come back up, and they have all these people and all these farm animals. And the hay comes up. When does the hay come up to? And Rosalinda reminds me a whole lot of Maureen O'Hara from the first Parent Trap. You got to check it out. And Riker flirts with Rosalind. Excuse me, what happened to Troy? And why is she wearing such a fancy lace dress? What the F is up with that? If she's farming or stuff like that, why is she wearing a fancy lace dress? Yeah, look, the fancy lace dress. And then Riker takes her to his quarters, and she's in different clothes. And she's still talking about washing her feet. She's in clothes, change of hairdo. She looks like she had a shower. And she's still. And again, Troy. And hey, in those times, if you did something with somebody, it was automatically hitching ceremony followed. So I don't know what was up with all that. Read any of those Regency novels or early farm. Once you did this thing, you were married. So then they think, well, if there's one planet, where it happened to the other people? So they look, they investigate, they find the other planet. And this one, they got the computers. The second planet got the computers. And they beam down, and Pulaski immediately figures out that they're clones. And I guess it's to pursue some plot lines, I guess, along the way. They should immediately go, hey, we just picked up these 200 people that were with you 75, couple hundred years ago. But they wait on those. They don't do that right away. They decide they want to steal Pulaski and Riker's genes. And they don't take Geordi because Geordi has the eye issue. Which, by the way, Pulaski said she could fix. Like, how many episodes ago? So they're up in the doctor's office back on the ship after it's all over. And Geordi walks in and goes, hey, I was looking all over for you guys. And she's like, what? And she's like with the scanner, oh, we've been cloned. Get back down. Hey, you cloned us. You had no right. We had to destroy all your stuff. Then, oh, and Riker says, we need control over our own bodies. That's why they destroyed all the stuff. Where have I heard that before? Have you heard that before? Have you heard that before? Before? Hey, yeah, before. Or after. After? Before. I think so. You think? So they bring both sides together, and Dr. Pulaski suggests polygamy. Hey! One woman, three guys. Excuse me. God. This is Star Trek. This is supposed to be PG situation here, and you're suggesting polygamy. I bet the little kids don't even know what that is. Don't tell Florida. Sorry. And O'Brien again is listed as a guest star. That poor guy. He's going to be a guest star forever, and I'm going to complain about it forever. Until, of course, Deep Space Nine. Alright, so then we get to the manhunt. And they're going to escort the Antidian ambassadors to the conference. And when the Antidian things come aboard, they travel sound asleep. And Picard knows, he knows that they travel sound asleep. He knows. and yet he gets his dress uniform on to go greet them. He knows they arrive sound asleep, and he puts his dress uniform on to greet them. It just doesn't make sense. And they discuss Wesley's impression, and Data implies that it's prejudice of humans. And what's that old saying? Don't judge a book by its cover. So then they come in contact with a shuttlecraft carrying Deanna's mother. Apparently, she's going to be the emissary at the conference. And we're back on the bridge again, and Captain Picard is in his regular uniform. And then he goes down to the transporter to greet Deanna's mom, and he's back in his dress uniform. What the F? This guy, what are we back in London in the 1800s when you changed clothes for every single occasion? And then Picard knows better than to handle that luggage. And Riker's like, well, I'll do it. I like it's probably empty and they just, it's heavy. And then the big guy just picks it up and he's like, oh. And so Deanna's mom invites Picard to dinner, and he's assuming that the whole crew is coming. And he arrives with a bottle of wine, and Mr. Hyung just the whole bottle. And Deanna's mom comes out, and she's like, hey. God. So Picard panics. He's so uncomfortable in that dinner. So he calls Data. And so then they have a meeting between Troy, Riker, and Picard. And when Troy is talking to Picard about her mother's situation, they mention Riker and Troy's previous relationship again. And yet, in the last show, they had him going with the more O'Hara type. You know, the writers need to do what the fans want and put him and Troy together. It would have worked. So Picard's like, nope, not me. And he goes and hides in the Dixon Hill holodeck program. And he sits down and he's listening to the Andrews Sisters, Boogie Loogie Boogie Boogie Company 9. And then because the books are mysteries and they have killers and stuff like that, all these killers, because like, stop program, make it milder. And he starts the program, and there's a guy with a gun, and then there's a guy with a knife, and then there's a guy with this. He's like, screw this, let's go to the bar. And Deanna tells her mom that Picard is busy with ship business. And Worf likes the Indians. He thinks they have dignity and grace. And he and Wesley talk about the Indians. And Picard and Madeline go to the bar. And Deanna's mom decides, all right, well, if I can't have Picard, I'm going to go after Riker. So she goes after Riker. And she goes on this bridge of the crew and announces, hey, we're married. And Riker's like, huh? So they all go to the holodeck. And Data goes with them. But Data's like, hey, give me a minute. I need to change. And so they go on the holodeck. And that is just, she can't read the bartender. And she's like, oh, I like a man I can't read. A man of mystery. Ooh. So they get to the conference thing, and they go to beam the Antiwinians down. And after they've been treating them like royalty the whole time. And Loxana walks in and she goes, you know, these guys have bombs and they're going to blow up the whole thing. And you're like, oh, scared. Oh my God, you're right. And you know, she leaves in the same dress she came in. So they must have, filmed her coming and going in the same, she's wearing the same dress. Absolute same dress. And with all that luggage she brought, you'd think she'd have another dress. Alright. MSA. There's no voiceover introduction. to this one. But they are Pulaski, Data, Geordi, Riker, and Worf are playing poker. And apparently, Worf is winning by a lot. And the game is interrupted. Picard says they're getting an emergency signal. So they come up to the bridge. And he says, Starfleet tells them you need to meet this emissary, and we can't tell you anything about it. And they're like, all right, what's on? What's this challenge? And Colomini, once again, is listed as a guest star. Again. Poor guy. He's either, I like it better when he's listed as a guest star in the beginning instead of the end, because a lot of people don't watch the end credits. So it's better to be listed in the beginning credits than it is in the end credits, because I'm pretty sure that more people will watch the beginning credits than the end credits. And the only time you watch the end credits is when you had a question about who someone was, or if it's Marvel Comics and they're throwing in 30-second extras in the credits. So they hurry up to the site. But I wanted to show you, well, and I'll get to it in a minute. There's a couple of scenes, we'll get to it. But in this first scene, Data's in the seat and Wesley Crusher. You don't see Wesley Crusher at all at this episode. And I was wondering what was up with that. And the emissary's transported in a probe. And so they call Colomini and Geordi in, and they bring the probe up. Riker walks in, Geordi's like, have fun, and he leaves. And he's like, what? After all that, wasn't he curious to see who was in the coffin, the probe? He just leaves. He just leaves. He's not even curious. He's bye. And then they go in the meeting room, and Kayla and Worf know each other. And in the briefing, she tells them about a Klingon ship who was put in suspended animation. And this reminds me of that Star Trek Voyager episode, probably in the last season, where the Klingons believe that B'Elanna's child is their god, or I forget, some Jesus type figure. I forget what it was. It just reminds me a lot of that, because those guys were still living in the past, and they had to convince them that this was a present. And she tells them about the crew in suspended animation, and they're afraid that if the Klingons wake up and they believe they're at the war with the Federation, they'll attack a ship. And Riker makes a good point here. Why isn't the Klingons doing this? It discovered the Klingons are too far away. They're racing here, but Enterprise was closer. So Picard talks to Worf, and Worf is like, I'd rather not do this. And Picard's like, are there personal reasons? And Worf is like, yes. And then Picard goes, is there professional reasons? And Worf is like, fine, I withdraw my request. And Troy and Kay talk about their parents. One had human father, one the whole human, one Betazoid, one human, one Klingon. So they talk about that in common. And she tries to make nice with Worf, and Worf has this huge, massive chip on his shoulder. And she's like, well, they have unfinished business, and he doesn't think so, and they have a lover spat. And she goes into her cabin, and she smashes the glass, and I'm like, there's no blood. And couldn't she have smashed a pillow? You people have got to learn. Hit a punching bag, hit a pillow. Don't hit glass. It can hit back with cuts. And then she changes into another skin-tight outfit with shoulder pads. For those of you who don't know, in the 80s and 90s, shoulder pads were a big, huge thing. And Picard tells Worf to relax, and he's like, I am relaxing. And he's like, Worf. So what Riker says that Worf's mask is melting. So Worf goes to the holodeck and he sees her fight. And they get all passionate and bloody and they have romantic conversations and they act like they did stuff, but if they're fully closed. So I guess it's supposed to be up to the imagination, again, the PG kind of show. And he's decided that he wants to marry her and she's against it and she panics and she leaves. And I wanted to show in look at the bridge crew. No Data, no Wesley, no Worf. And I know I've seen that guy someplace before, but he's been on the show before. But when have you seen not both of these people are extras? And he's an extra. And the ones in the background are extra. And you're wondering, is something going to happen that they need to kill a few extras? At least I thought this was fascinating that they were extras. And don't these people get bragging rights for the rest of their lives? They were on Star Trek Next Generation. And not only were they extras, but they had lines. So they got paid extra bucks. So, Worf comes up with an idea. He's like, they're trying to decide what to do. And Worf just comes up with a last minute idea of bluffing. And he does a really, really good job of bluffing. We got to get through the Data being a chaperone. That was so cute. Did you like that? Data being a chaperone. And you're like, yeah, you know, this is what we can do. But anyway, I like the look, it's Worf in uniform. He's bluffing. It was a good bluff. It was a very good bluff. And then Picard says that Worf did a really good job. And Riker asked how he liked command, and Worf said the chair was comfortable. It's better than standing. They always stand in the background. And Worf and Kayla have words at the end. She tells him it yesterday, last night, did have a meeting. And it scared her a little bit. And when their paths cross again, and she comes back in future episodes with a surprise. And Worf says, I will not be complete without you. Excuse me, the writers put him with Troy in future episodes. They gotta stop breaking up Troy and Riker. They really do. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the Samaritan Snare, Up the Long Ladder, Manhunt, and the Emissary. And please like and subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe button. I don't have the technology to do all that fancy stuff that everybody else does. And my pal here slept through it all. But please, please, please take the time to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a good day. and know your ABCs. Do you know your ABCs? Real quick. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.